Hey there, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. Welcome to another episode of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight, we are talking about the 100th episode, The Real Deal. We're going to be breaking down Fitz and Simmons' weddings, Coulson coming to terms with death, and all of the fan service that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans could ask for. It's going to be a fun show tonight. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Guys.
So, Fitz and Simmons weren't married before? I don't understand. I don't understand why this. Okay.
Common law doesn't count.
I mean,
Space law doesn't count.
When you get introduced in a show as your ship name, like, you kind of make assumptions from the very start of the show.
They OP.
the concept was they've always
OTP.
they've always been kind of together, and okay, we need to get into that.
Let Megan introduce the episode, Tehran.
We need to
Anyway,
talk.
hey there, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. Welcome to the 100th episode of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s recap here on AfterBuzz TV. Let's not waste any time. I'm Megan Salinas, and to my left is Jesse Klein.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Super excited to talk about the episode.
To his left, Tehran.
Tehran is here.
What's there left to say after that?
And to his left, Zach Wilson.
Hey guys, I am rocking my Jessica Jones Infinity Scarf in honor of Jessica Jones coming out and the after show coming back later tonight. Plug.
Be sure to stay tuned for that. And Zach has got you guys covered on the live chat. We are also going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag ABTVMarvel because we want to know what you guys thought about the 100th episode. So yeah, guys, now I guess we could break this down as like a 100th episode sort of recap or just a regular episode recap, like, because I have thoughts of this as just an episode itself, but also as kind of the 100th episode as well.
I mean, it felt just like a regular episode to me. Like, it felt just like a fun sci-fi episode.
Do Fitz and Simmons get married every episode there? You heartless beast.
Listen, in my heart, when a force like Fitz and Simmons are on TV, that love has been married forever. It transcends time and space. He went to another planet for her.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Why was he even nervous to get married when it's like you weren't nervous to go into a cryogenic chamber, emerge?
Oh, that's
to
where
sing?
Gemma is? Okay, night, guys.
He didn't even question, hey, is there another way to get there? Like, you're so innovative, and then you come up with this and you do that. And they've been seeing it. It's not like you're even seeing other girls. There are no other girls at this point for you to even see, or vice versa. You guys have been together in different dimensions and frameworks and different scenarios. Yo.
Tehran, you're saying he was afraid to get married. Are you proposing that the rift is not closed and his greatest fear was marrying Gemma and it never happened?
No!
I don't want to drop this mic because it'll break, but
Mic drop.
I don't want to live in that world. I thought it was great.
Zach, what are your thoughts on this episode?
I thought this was a good episode. In terms of, this was a good 100th episode. You're right. I agree more with, I think, what Megan was insinuating there. Like, if this was not the 100th episode, it would have felt really weird and out of place. But as far as like you wanting to do a special episode to like acknowledge the show and what it's done up to this point, I thought it did a good job. The fear dimension thing was a little like, I see what you're doing to get these people back in here for a moment.
It felt very Doctor Who.
Yes,
this entire episode,
especially with the crack.
Yeah.
If you blew up the lighthouse, this crack would still be there.
I literally have in my notes, a crack in the universe.
Yeah.
It looks like the crack that was in Amy Pond's.
It's
No, this one
almost
was
identical.
Blue. The one in Amy Pond's was white. It's very different.
It's a completely
It's a
different
squiggly line across the air. It's the same riff.
Now,
Okay, fine.
I will say that
That was a rift?
I will say that the notion of the fear dimension was a surprise to me, because what I thought it was going to be was more actually pulling these people, these manifestations of fear. I thought it was literally pulling Lash and Hive out of points in time.
Not just kind of weird ghosty things.
Not just weird ghosts.
They could only afford like 2 special effects shots for each one.
Yeah.
Have we brought up the fear dimension before? Has it come up in the show before?
No, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe has brought up the notion of multiverses in the past,
Sure.
particularly with Doctor Strange. There's an entire dimension called the Dark Dimension where Dormammu's just like hanging out, being a jerk, I guess.
Jesse, I was trying to remember, is there like specifically a fear dimension in the comics? Because you have the which one is it with the anti-Avengers? Is that the negative zone?
That's the negative
Yeah.
zone. Yeah, I mean, there are...
Yeah, alternate universes are no stranger to Marvel.
Yeah, but I don't know that there's specifically a fear dimension.
There was a
Clearly there is.
there was a superhero who like could tap into the fear. Like they described their powers as they could. What was their name? There might have been like phobia or something like that. Their superpower was like
Good old phobia, yes.
to tap into the fear dimension and bring out what your fears were. But I don't remember anyone actually like exploring the idea of a fear dimension or anything like
Little
that.
known fact about phobia, actually won an award for most original name for power of comic character.
I don't think so.
It actually won.
Like
Phobia taps into the fear dimension.
Now, there is a part of me that's a little disappointed that an episode about the fear dimension wasn't more horror oriented because I love my horror movies.
sure.
But I loved what they did
Yes.
with Mike Peterson and Coulson's fear. 'Cause
That was great.
That, to me, that was the best part of like truly acknowledging 100 episodes with Agent Coulson.
Yeah.
Because that felt like that was bookending not just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that was Coulson as he
Avengers.
was in the Avengers and his acknowledgments of like his belief in the team and playing on what happened that started this entire show. And like, while I'm not entirely on board with the Saint Elsewhere style, like
Jacob's Ladder
make
scenario.
you think. I don't even like the implication that we're in a dream. I know that's not what we're doing, but like, it's just like I don't need
Well,
to think
this
that.
is- yeah.
But I like that fear for Coulson. That would be his greatest fear, that he hasn't actually been effective in saving the world.
And it's an effective threat for the audience as well, where it's like this isn't what we're doing, but what if we were doing it?
And we're like, no, don't! I'm so scared of that concept being real.
Exactly.
No,
5
'cause that's-
seasons of my life wasted.
That's the sort of thing that ends up on like a BuzzFeed article list
Yeah,
of
sure.
like, guys, this theory, a clickbait article, this theory about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Turns out all the Rugrats were actually miscarriages.
So the concept of Coulson's biggest fear being psychological, I actually really appreciated it because it wasn't cheesy or corny.
Yeah.
It also highlighted a lot of things about Coulson and his character and gave me insight to who he is as a person who's just like a regular audience person. And I've always felt this way about Coulson. And it tied it back for me to the Avengers movie is where I was first introduced to Coulson. And so I appreciated it a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was very clever. It showed that great writing that I've seen highlighted throughout this season in particular, because I feel like this season's script writing has been phenomenal. The banter, the wittiness, and the charm, and it brought it back to that. And I also, honestly, if I was in that situation, I might have believed it. Because it was very believable. And Coulson had the strength of mind to not be persuaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not from a meta perspective as well, bringing J. August Richards back to reprise his role as Mike in Deathlok was really cool because he was there in the pilot. So it's a really cool idea to bring him back for this monologue sort of situation in the 100th episode, and also trying to convince Coulson that like, I'm not Mike Peterson, I'm just an EMT that happens to be in the room as you're dying, as you're flatlining.
That was great because we weren't sure whether or not that was Coulson seeing it or whether that was editing within the show. So it was like, is this an EMT that we are seeing, or is it what Coulson is seeing? And I think it's a great fear because it's one that everyone can connect to. Like the idea that does your life have any meaning? And like, have what you've been doing with your life, does that actually affect anything?
Fear. This is my dream in life, that everything at a certain point was just fake, and I'm really like this really rich guy who's been chilling in a house, like getting, and it would also mean I have healthcare, which is amazing.
Well, statistically speaking, we are all living in a simulation.
Thank you, bearer of good news, Justice. See, this is why I have to kill you to the death.
But
you can't, because it's just a simulation.
It's just a
So
simulation.
death,
They keep coming back.
death is a figment of your imagination.
But
Go ahead.
I loved that. Yeah, we got to see that Coulson does what we all do, which is we kind of willfully have to believe what we are doing has meaning, no matter what. And then Deathlok himself comes in and saves him. But I do like that while they were in the elevator, they even left a little room for doubt, where Coulson goes like, very convenient that he showed up right when I needed him. And then it's like just that little room for doubt where like, it was really convenient.
Oh no!
Wait a minute.
I love the idea that part of why Coulson is acting the way he does in this episode is because he's made peace with the notion of his own mortality and the notion that he is dying slowly. Because the reason he's able to accept it is, I got a second chance. I was able to change a few lives. I don't want to get greedy and ask for more. And this manifestation immediately starts to pick apart that by like, you didn't make a difference in these people's lives.
Yeah.
They're all just a manifestation of your wants and needs for a family. So I thought that was like a great way to just sort of dissect everything that he's like clinging to be like, I am accepting this.
Coulson's biggest fear should be that he's never going to get with May, because that needs to just happen already. Like, why? You've done everything. You hint at it. You like, just go, bro.
Before we talk about the one-on-one relationship, because let's get into that. But before we do have a quick announcement for you guys.
Yeah,
Tehran,
I would like to
away?
read this out, because want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life. For those who do, we have a podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos, a podcast edition, is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder, Maria Menounos. If you're not familiar, get familiar. She is amazing and drops every Friday on iTunes. That's each and every Friday. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life, from health and wellness to career and relationships, finances, and more. Let our Maria be the big sister you have never had. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. And make sure you share and subscribe. Tell your friends. Be sure to rate and comment when you do. And let Maria know it was us, meaning me, who got you there. If you don't know, my name's on my hat. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Check it out. And I'm telling you this from real personal experience. I actually listen to it each and every Friday because it's inspirational, it's motivational, and more importantly, it's informative. I learn a lot from listening to Maria speak with her guests. It's just really informational. So if you're doing anything at home where you're like, greatness is a part of who I want to be, and it doesn't matter greatness in what, you could be a worker at Popeyes and like want to be the best Popeyes worker. Trust me, you definitely want to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, Maria is an amazing, powerful woman. Check her out, because she is just a phenomenal person, and you can learn from her.
And I think I just want Popeyes. I don't know why I do that. Okay, fine.
After
Popeyes
the
is
podcast.
delicious. If you choose KFC
It's
over
not
Popeyes, you're not a good person. Okay,
This
that's
show's
me.
not brought to you by Popeyes.
Unless KFC is like, they want to smile, and then I love KFC. Okay.
Louisiana Fresh. That's what this show is. Back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So as you were bringing up, we have, one of the biggest upsetting things about Coulson slowly dying is that this entire show has been leading up to him and May potentially getting together.
Because May wants to. I feel like May wants it. See, it'd be one thing if it's like Phil and then it's like, bro, calm down, Harvey. But it's like,
no, this has never been an unrequited situation.
It's like you have like a day to live, bro. Just go, every day. You were about to go Gravitron it up. You know what? You can find 30 minutes. Just make it happen. Just knock it out of the way, man. Just get it out the way.
Knock it out of
He
the
said
way.
the word. He said my trigger word, graviton, and now I'm set again. Because they keep look. I think they have to be building to graviton, because they're I wanted to swear, but this is a family-friendly show. They keep messing with us.
Gravitonium
They're
to
effing,
close the rift.
They are using gravitonium everywhere in this season, and they acknowledged last year that they've we know about the graviton thing, and I think people are gonna be happy, and then they didn't pay it off.
Okay.
And they keep teasing us with it. Every other episode, gravitonium.
Actually,
Ward is still alive. He's bonded with Graviton.
That's the only way I don't want
Actually,
graviton.
Zach, you missed the press release. The writers of the show, the showrunners, released a press release saying that they were purposely teasing Gravitonium specifically to annoy
Wait,
you.
are you-
You know what?
No.
It's funny.
Until you said
But
it
that's
to me.
actually possible. There was a show on AfterBuzz where the writers would watch the after show and then kind of rewrite scripts based on what the panel was talking about. So that's not as far-fetched as you might think.
No, I've definitely heard. I'm not gonna say which show, but there's one show two shows I think actually that specifically made reference.
And the
Let's-
writers have agreed
let's
to that.
not-
They were like, yeah, we kind of...
Yeah, they
Let's
copped
not
it.
call them
want it
out.
to be
Let's not
this.
call them
So
out.
we find out that Coulson is dying because basically he's already dead and it's just catching up with him.
Yeah, I thought the explanation of Ghost Rider possessing him for a short while, the way he describes it, is undoing the alien voodoo that kept him together.
Burned out his alien voodoo. Yeah.
I like that because basically Coulson was that makes sense to me. Although
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the vengeance demon
Well,
it's like death. To me, it's more that's a death thing, right?
Well, it kind of reminds me of a Spider-Man anti-venom where he cures people of their diseases. So that means if he touches Spider-Man, he cures him of his radiation poisoning. So Spider-Man loses his powers. So I think it was maybe because the demon possessed him, it burned all the alien stuff out of him because it was trying to help him.
Same thing, except I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because
He said it was a deal. He said it was the
part
way
of the
he
deal,
talked about
yeah.
it. It sounds like it was more like a maybe not verbally stated kind of thing, but a conscious I'm
This
going
is
to
what's
let
going
you
to
be
happen.
the Ghost Rider
If
you
give me your
give
soul.
up this your newfound life. I'm going to take the thing that saved you in exchange for helping
Which
you.
That's
it
interesting.
makes sense that it's that's sort of a parallel with Ghost Rider too, because if you remember in the episode where Robbie Reyes became the Ghost Rider, becoming Ghost Rider saved his life.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that it would sort of in a sort of a parallel, it would cost Coulson his. So I very much appreciate that explanation. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just continuing. We saw some really interesting storytelling between. I mean, they really hammered home the father-daughter relationship between Daisy and Coulson this episode. I think that was the thing was well deserved, and I feel like we're talking about 100 episode. I feel like with the wedding and with that, they really kind of paid off stories that they've been setting up since episode 1, and it was nice to see. She acted like how you would act if you found out that your parent was dying and they'd been holding it from you. She was kind of petulant with it. She was kind of saying no, you should have told us. She was putting unfair stuff on him while he was putting unfair stuff on her, which is what death is about. It's always not fair.
He had already gone through several of the stages of grief.
Yeah.
And then he drops that bomb on them and is just sort of expecting them to already be at the acceptance stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, can we...
Go for it.
Coulson's love for Daisy, could it be... Hear me out here. Coulson looks at Daisy like if me and May had a kid, it would be Daisy. You don't think that they would be the perfect parents for Daisy? That's mom, that's dad, and they're
I think in
mixed,
a lot of
she's mixed. I mean...
It's a non-traditional family.
I think in a lot of ways, he does think of Daisy as his and May's daughter, so to speak. Not necessarily in that sort of official capacity, but it's very clear that he and May love each other. It's just always been bad timing, and they collectively together have helped form Daisy to be an amazing agent.
And my thing is, even if hooking up with Phil is a bad idea, you've made bad ideas. Lash was your ex, bro. Let it, Like, can we talk about? Okay.
Well, he was
Tehran,
a
what's-
good man before he became Lash.
Tehran,
Was
what's
he?
the next
No,
episode?
he wasn't. Oh, Lash. Sorry, I got Hive and Lash. I got the two tentacle head
Hive-
creatures
Hive
backwards
was
in my head for a
always
second.
a bad person.
Right. I think for predictions, Tehran just wants the next episode to be a full show of Phil and May hooking up.
But now that I'm
candles.
thinking about it, you had Lash and Hive in the same place. If they talk to each other, they're gonna like avatar it with their tentacles.
Probably,
like-
yeah. There was a lot of love in this episode. Like Mac and Yo-Yo talked the most about loving each other than they have so far.
As she
Yeah.
got smothered with a pillow.
And she got smothered with a pillow.
Because LMD.
That's real love, though.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Yo-Yo and Mech for a little bit, because this is very, I don't want to call it self-fulfilling prophecy, but Yo-Yo is basically like the Cassandra right now, because she talked to a version of herself without arms who is basically like, yeah, this is what's gonna happen.
Who's Cassandra?
Cassandra was a figure in Greek mythology who saw the future and nobody ever believed her. And so she was kind of doomed to see the future and be unable to change it. So that's sort of what Yo-Yo's experiencing right now. And every time Max says, I love you, we're sticking together, I'm not leaving you, I'm like, no! This all ends so poorly.
Well, it's interesting. I hope we get. I mean, I like that it's bringing them together. I hope we get Yo-Yo on her feet soon, because like
Get her metal arms.
yeah, give her metal
Yeah.
arms. Because I like the actress and the character so much. Like I want to see them being more active in the story than just in a bed being sad.
Doesn't Mac die?
Yes,
That's-
eventually. I mean, we all die eventually.
Yeah, in the Sylvia Plath sense of the word, I'm sure he's dying as we speak. But isn't he
But
dead?
what happens, basically what we've been able to take from the fragments of the future past that we saw in the episode with Robin, is that at some point Yo-Yo leaves the team because they were unable to save Mac. And that basically gets confirmed when in the future she runs into her future self, who basically confirms that she was unable to save Mac.
But she has metal arms when she leaves.
Yes.
So we all get what we want. I get a death on the show. You get your metal arms. No gravity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
yet.
will never
Not
be
yet.
satisfied.
Wait until the episode where the world shatters. If that's not the result of graviton, I think we'll all be very upset.
And I think we're dealing
Or
with
maybe
a
he'll
bunch.
save us.
We're
That would
dealing
be
with a bunch of Cassandras because like everyone also knows that Daisy destroys the world.
Yes.
And so, but they're all kind of refusing to believe it, even though, as far as we know, if we are believing that future Yo-Yo and future everyone else is a reliable narrator, then Daisy destroys the world and Yo-Yo leaves the team because of Mac. But we don't know if that's true or not.
The Daisy thing, especially, I think there've been enough things to be clear to this point that it's like purely like tangential information that suggests that she was the cause of it. They're just
Sure.
like, they found the first plausible explanation and were like, that was it, and didn't dig
We don't
any
know
further.
that, and that's actually what makes me. In the beginning, I was against it being Daisy being the one, but the more they try to make it look like it's not her, I started to believe it is her, and it's something she does inadvertently by trying not to be the person who does it, and that's where I'm going with storyline wise.
Interesting.
And I'm sure I'll talk about more in predictions, but it's because they keep making it seem like everything else in the world. So this space-time rift, which I barely understand, and then how they just created something to contain it, which I also don't understand, happened to be in Deke's belt buckle, which I completely don't understand. Like at this point,
No, that actually makes sense. How Deke still ended up in the past, like I guess you could make the argument about the monolith at the
He was
explosion.
where the monolith
yeah.
fragment, and that was enough.
But
actually makes sense to me. Got that part.
But they established early on that he had an anti-gravity device.
I understand, but it's just such a powerful device for him to just have, which happens to be a very easy solution for this such a difficult problem.
Because
even if
all
it's
of this
temporary.
is just in Coulson's mind.
I think I can work backwards on how he has that powerful belt buckle. It's probably something that they give people who go out and like harvest the rocks or clean the outside
To
of
have
the,
gravity.
Maybe it's a gift.
it's basically just a way for them to just move around with nothing.
Maybe it's a gift from
else.
his grandfather.
Yeah, but it's.
Okay, we gotta talk about this.
But that's where I'm getting at. That's actually something I was gonna get at. Is this something where this was a planned situation for him to have that belt? Because why else? He wasn't walking at the time. There was no need, and I don't feel like.
How are his pants staying up right now?
Well, I mean, it's still staying up. It's just the buckle. He actually didn't need it. So that's
the
why I was
belt,
like,
yeah.
You bring up a good point. Let's talk about Deke in this episode, because I find the out of time, fish out of water story elements to be I know that they're kind of overdone in a lot of media, but I really love the execution
It's
here.
incredibly charming in this show. Like the way they're showing Deke, like with the spray.
Orange scented.
Yeah.
What?
I
He
like
sprays
Deke
it in
a
his
lot.
mouth, which I think everyone has had that instinct at some point, right? Am I
It
the only
smells
one?
like orange. It probably tastes like
Yeah.
orange too.
Yeah, no, not me.
No, you've
I-
never eaten soap.
No. So I like
Or
Deke.
candles from Bath and Body Works.
Yeah.
And Deke likes Daisy, which maybe I like Deke even more, but I like Deke's storyline a
Yeah.
lot. And he's, to me, even though he's the character that's supposed to make the least amount of sense, he's actually the one right now to me who makes the most amount of sense.
Yeah, I agree. He is acting the way he should, like narratively. I liked that when he went to the surface the second time, before he started his to-do list that Coulson had given him, he got a rocket pop.
Where did he get money from, by the way?
They,
Coulson
they
gave
gave
him.
him money.
Yeah, Coulson,
Okay.
you were distracted at the time, but Coulson gave him like a to-do list and was like, "You have to just do all of these things for me." And Deke was like, "Well, it doesn't really matter." And he's like, "Just do it."
Because he's the only one not on a government watch list at
Yeah.
the moment.
Because
Although
he
now he
doesn't
is.
exist.
Although now he is.
Oh,
because-
definitely.
They ran DNA scans on him, and
Yeah.
just in case that like ring thing, which I thought was pretty clear.
I thought the ring thing was clear, and I wish they just kept it at that.
Yeah, like, but I get that they needed the government to know who he was.
Yeah.
like they needed him to be
On
connected
Hale's,
to it.
Yeah, they needed him to be on Hale's radar.
But they could have done that without
I mean,
necessarily.
I guess it leaves open like a moment where
I
where the characters also find out that Deke is.
Yeah, and
I
I
think
guess
that's not
Fitz
the
and
important
Simmons'
part. The important
grandson.
part is that it's their grandson, meaning they know that Fitz and Simmons have not had children. So that's how they figure out that he's from the future, because clearly he's their child. And
Sure.
since they haven't had a child and he's already a grown man, they're like, this guy's from the future. It's not just, oh, now we know who he is. It's now we know what he is. And
Yeah.
that's why
Well,
it's
he also
important.
said it to the cops. So the cops are going to tell him he was saying he was from the future,
future,
and
yeah.
now they're like, oh, that might be real.
That might
That's
be an
how it comes
actual.
back.
just drunk on Zima. He was telling the truth.
And
yeah,
that's
he
going to
also
play a
brought
big part.
Zimas.
I think that's going to
Brought
play
to you
a
by
big part.
Zima.
I hope it does. Yeah, because like that would be great if like the U.S. government was like, oh wait maybe we are the bad guys.
No,
Like-
I think it plays a bigger part because in the beginning of the season, I was always like, there's so many like storylines that are just going into nothingness. Now, to me, because of these things, it looks like now they're pulling all these storylines together,
Yeah.
and they're gonna tie them up into one nice, pretty knot of a bow and deliver it in the finale of this season. And that's why I actually appreciate these little hints that these are coming into play.
Yeah.
That they actually come back.
That's what I was saying is like it now the narrative is moving forward with like, okay, now we know, like everyone knows that Deke is from the future. Everyone like it'll move that narrative forward.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out who this ninja is that is killing people. And
We know who she is.
I mean-
Her name is Ruby.
oh, okay, we
And
know a
she's
name.
She's obsessed with Quake.
Yeah.
Talking about that and how basically Deke's whole I feel like it's really interesting finding out that he is for sure Fitz and Simmons' descendant because
Someone on the panel predicted that.
Yeah, it was me.
I will fight you to the death on the show. I will fight you to the death on this show.
Okay.
I find it's interesting that we get that reveal here because everybody is still like very much treating Deke as the traitor he was. Simmons or Fitz at one point when he asks him for the belt buckle, this was right after he was like, someone might potentially have to sacrifice themselves. Deke goes off on this awesome rant about, no, I just got here.
Yeah.
This planet is amazing. I already did the self-sacrifice for you guys, so forget you.
But what a sad alternate story where Fitz makes his grandson sacrifice himself without realizing it. Like, what a sad alternate story.
Oh my god,
is.
that's the darkest
Yeah,
timeline.
it is a dark timeline.
And then Fitz realizes it,
He
like,
finds out, like,
No,
they
I
pull
sent
up.
him to his death.
It's actually Back to the Future 4's.
Yeah.
but it does raise a time travel paradox question, which if we save the future, like stop the world from exploding, then what happens? Is Deke gonna get erased, or are we in one of those versions of time travel where he's already here, so he's just here?
So you're asking, is it Back to the Future or Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure rules?
Yes.
And
we
we've
don't
had
know.
this discussion before,
Yeah.
Before we get too lost in
Marvel
the weeds on what
keeps them.
kind of...
Marvel tends to
keeps
keep
this
them.
because like Cable and all these characters that are from the future who come back,
Yeah.
they actually just exist.
And
Yeah, and
all new
X-Men,
X-Men,
yeah.
like brought from the past to the present,
So-
are just like chilling.
So then I guess Deke still exists,
It,
as we know him.
we
Yeah.
shall see. It's still
Is he
entirely
gonna have
possible.
a baby with Daisy though?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm torn.
So Fitz and Simmons' great-grandchild is Daisy and Deke's child, is what you're proposing.
Which is nothing new here in Hollywood, so
No,
not a
that's true.
problem at all.
Which I do like the dynamic Deke and Daisy have developed. You know, talking about kind of callbacks. It
They
was
didn't
nice.
have a moment.
We've never had a moment.
Yeah.
They've had moments.
That was the moment right there.
You just had it.
But again, and we had it a little bit in the last episode too. It's nice getting callbacks about Daisy's past and, you know, why she's become the person that she is, you know, growing up in the same orphanage that Matt Murdock grew
Yes.
up with.
I'm glad we brought that up because that was a little drop, and people in the chat were saying like, "Oh, I want to see Daisy and Jessica
Daredevil.
Jones in the same place." And it's like, well,
Absolutely.
she might. I don't know how the timing matches up exactly.
Yeah, I don't
but
know.
she might have known Matt Murdock as
Yeah.
a kid.
I-
Like she
I-
might be like, yeah, I did grow up with a blind guy.
Yeah.
Huh.
He did backflips all the time.
did you guys-
Weird.
Did you guys catch, because we were talking about last time how we wish there was some sort of payoff still from the computer program that they were all living in where Fitz was a Nazi, and we got some of that payoff now because Fitz was talking about acceptable losses and Daisy was saying there are no acceptable losses, Leopold. This isn't Hydra, which it was still like, okay, so they're still kind of carrying that guilt with them and that knowledge that Fitz, that was a part of him for a while. I appreciated that.
Fritz.
Yeah, Tehran
Just the
still
acknowledgement
misses
that
Fritz.
that everybody on the team views like nobody on this team is expendable.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Matt Murdock Daredevil?
Yes.
Yes.
That's,
Well,
that's why he wears the sweatshirt.
So, Daredevil, okay, was in the same orphanage as Daisy?
yes,
Yeah.
that was a reveal that we got like way back in season
like 2
2.
seasons.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's... Well, I mean, there's things I'm learning.
Yeah.
No,
The
it's
slime that
it's
makes Daredevil is the exact same canister that makes the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did you guys all know that?
Look it up.
Did you guys all know that?
I thought the ooze
No.
was from another planet.
No, I guarantee you. Hold on. You guys want to bet on this? I know this for a fact.
Let's bring it back. Let's
I
bring
guess
it
it
back.
depends
Let's
which
bring it back.
universe.
No, I'm telling
I
you.
like this question from the chat from Mr. Goku Jr. who is because they brought it up on the show early in the season, the multiverse theory.
Yeah.
And like so, Mr. Goku says, what if Deke's world is like the ultimate universe from the comics that was destroyed in the Secret
Absolutely.
Wars? The thing is, like like, even though they mentioned the multiverse theory and threw that out there, that future that we went to is not another universe, because
No.
Fitz didn't travel through a rift or anything to get there. He just went
traveled
into
through time.
A cryo
cryotube and woke up. So he didn't travel
No,
anywhere. So
the-
that
Yeah.
was our universes. That was universe 199999.
But you're only thinking third dimensionally. Because if you're thinking on fourth dimension, that universe only exists because Fitz made that choice to go save her. There is another universe that exists where he didn't. There's another universe exists where Deke is their child, and they find out that Deke is their child, and they prevent that from happening
Yes.
in the first
Ooh,
place.
what now?
So,
But for that to be the case in this show, we
Yeah.
would have had to have been watching multiple universes.
Yeah,
well,
there,
you don't know if we have it.
there,
I know, but if they do that, it's too much. My
There
brain
is-
will.
Okay.
There is a chance that when Fitz went to sleep in the cryo chamber, that when he woke up, we cut to another universe where, I don't know, something didn't go wrong, or it is entirely possible that we did cut to another universe when we cut to Fitz waking up. I don't think that's the case, because that's going to get real messy real quickly. But let's go
Even
back.
sci-fi nerds would have trouble tracking that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's go back to this wedding.
I don't know any sci-fi nerds.
None whatsoever.
I actually have no
all
idea
of
what we
it.
just discussed right now here. And I was sitting here. Are we going to just blow over my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pop? Okay, fine. What?
No, the chat's all in on this.
Tehran's just sitting here dropping truth bombs all over the place. But yeah, let's talk about this wedding, because yes, this has been building up for the entire series, and
Yeah.
we finally get Fitz and Simmons' wedding day, and it's probably not like either of them pictured it, but it was. As a fan of this show for several years, for me it was very, very sweet, and I can't think of a better way to have wrapped it all
Yeah,
up.
it makes sense that they had a Deathlok cyborg in their temporary forest underground as part of their wedding.
You guys know stuff. Why are all cyborgs black? Okay, continue. Go on. Yeah, I said it.
RoboCop.
I mean, Deathlok 30 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was great. What a great way to have, like, I love the idea that the wedding was kind of cobbled together by Coulson before he knew whether or not he was going to live or die, and then
Yeah.
it was like this list of things that he sent Deke out to get, the antique the rings,
The ring was so sweet.
the antique wedding dress, all of that kind of stuff. I thought that was great. The Zimas. My only disappointment, it's such a small disappointment, is I feel like Hunter and Bobby would have been at that wedding. And I know it's like we can't get everything, but like Hunter especially was really good friends with him.
Yeah,
And-
but I guess he's still looking after Robin at the moment.
And it's
I
not
guess,
like, and
yeah.
they didn't really give notice. They didn't like send out save the dates.
Yeah.
So like I get it,
Yeah.
but you're right. Like
That's the one thing that would have made it perfect.
it would have been great to
And the
see.
ghost of Trip, just in the background.
He's Jedi ghost sitting in the back of the room. But like I guess that we can't get everybody back for the 100th episode. Like if they'd done that, it would have felt really forced. Like the
Yeah.
idea that Bobby, who we've established is like off in like some super secret spies thing like across the world, would just show up for this like impromptu wedding would be really heavy-handed. But I would have loved. I just want to see Bobby in general.
Yeah.
Agent Davis was there.
Yeah, somebody,
Davis was there.
Who was somebody on Twitter helped us out with that because we were like, yeah, there's this one random dude.
Yeah, he helped them escape. And yeah, he's been there.
And they got Deathlok. Like,
Well, no, they got a lot of people back there,
Yeah.
but like then there was that one dude, Agent Davis, who like I'm looking up like where
But why are they
he
not
was there
looking for
several
Robin, by the
years
way?
ago.
why are they not? Yeah, that's a good question.
Why are they not looking for her? Why was not that? Why was that not on the to-do list? Like, hey, Deke, by the way, the person who knows the future, can you get her?
They know. I mean, they know that May eventually becomes Robin's mom.
Sure.
So
I think it's just a low priority. Like they got a
Yeah.
lot of stuff on the
Low
plate.
priority
Yeah.
to find the person that actually might have the most amount of answers,
The-
especially in the past.
Who we know is going to intersect with their plot line in a specific
But they're
way.
trying to change their plot
My
line.
argument against that, right now is one crisis at a time. They got back. They escaped. There was an explosion. One crisis at a time. The way Coulson describes it, you know, when they put this wedding together, is like, we just made it out of one crisis and we just hopped into another, and now that's done. Let's get this wedding done before the next crisis starts. And so, looking for Robin, I think, is something that's going to be on their to-do list before the next crisis happens.
Yeah.
But
We had to deal with this crack in the universe first.
they're on the run. There was an explosion. The monoliths are gone now. Yeah, and that whole gravitonium thing is just sort of to put a pin in the universal tear. They didn't solve the problem.
Yeah, they just sort of contained
They put a
it.
Band-Aid on it.
I felt sad for Yo-Yo that she wasn't at the wedding.
Yeah.
If the monoliths are gone, that's why they needed just the piece of the monolith in the future.
That could be why there's
Where-
only a fragment
like,
of it.
Yeah,
yet.
did they save it? Like, see, I just have future timey-wimey.
I feel like talking about the future, that's a good way to segue into some predictions.
Well done.
Yeah, predict a high five right there. How about that? How about predict
I
a high
thought
five?
you were just like, well done.
Well done.
Let's talk about the future. Sleight of hand, what a deception. So yeah, let's talk predictions, guys. Now that the government knows who Deke is, and now that they sort of have a better idea, we know how dangerous Ruby is. Where do we think we're going next week?
Oh man, I have to think that we're gonna deal with a base under siege story of some kind, continuing with this season of Doctor Who.
Yeah, sure.
Because somebody binged Doctor Who before they opened the room for this show last year. It just felt more and more like they're trying to, which is fine. I love Doctor Who.
I don't hate it.
Doctor Who is a sci-fi show with a very small budget, and
Yeah.
that's what this show has been this season.
And yeah, they may have even gotten that note of like, look at Doctor Who, how they handle budgets.
Yeah.
But so I think that's what we're gonna get. I think we're gonna be mostly in the lighthouse, while the government, knowing that they're nearby because they've seen Deke and so they know they're in town.
Yeah.
They're gonna be knocking on every door to find the entrance to the lighthouse.
Interesting. Tara?
Well, as the most right member of this panel, I feel that Deke and Daisy.
Not
Okay,
May
maybe I don't
and
feel,
Coulson.
but I wish Deke. I would love for Deke and Daisy to kiss. Okay, because Daisy's so opposed to it, and Deke is so not her type, but totally kind of there is. I don't care what Daisy said. There have been moments between the two.
You just want your fanfic to come true.
Okay.
Your /fanfic.
I'm
It's
surrounded
okay.
by
It's
fan
okay.
fiction people. I can't have one.
There's nothing wrong with that. Jesse?
Based on the preview, it looks like there's gonna be still some tear stuff going on.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that we're gonna get, if we do get a siege story, then it's gonna be like a war on two fronts, where it's like they're still having to deal with whatever this fear dimension
The
is.
manifestations there.
Maybe we get the government's Hale's all in here. Ruby's gonna kill us.
Open the fear dimension. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'd like to see more explored with Coulson's necrotic dying going on, because it feels like
Do you think he makes it by the end of the season? Do you think Coulson makes it all the way through? Predictions, right?
Sure.
I think Coulson is going to die in the season finale, which is right before Infinity War, because Infinity War is going to have some kind of thing about Coulson being dead, that because they got to bookend the Avengers stories, and they're like, well, that was such a huge part of the Avengers coming together, but now Coulson's alive, so how the hell are we going to acknowledge him in this final chapter of this big part of the season?
I don't think
as
Infinity
fighting-
War is going to say anything about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, I don't think they're going to mention Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Coulson.
but I think they're going to mention Coulson in relation to the Avengers, and for him
In
to still
relation
be
to him
alive
being-
at that point.
His name was Philip Coulson.
Yeah,
His name
I don't think
was
so.
Philip Coulson.
We can dream. We can dream.
Again, I don't think they will acknowledge Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the slightest, but I think that there will be a mention to Coulson being dead, and so they have to kill him in order to make that mention work.
I hope you're right, Jesse, in terms of we're not done with the fear dimension stuff, because if there's one thing I could complain about this episode is that I would have loved to have just seen more fear manifestations. The ones we got in 42 minutes were fantastic and spot on, but I could have watched an entire extra hour of just them dealing with fear dimension manifestations. But yeah, so I hope we're not done with that as well. Well, I think that just about does it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as a complete side note, thank you guys for everybody who's watched this after show for the 100 episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we
got to do the math. I think we're at like 98 or something because of so many double episodes.
Yeah, doubling
I've been
up.
here all 100 episodes, so thank you for watching.
Thank you, Matt
So-
Lieberman.
Only Megan. Literally
Actually,
only Megan.
I didn't come in until episode 5.
Oh.
So no one has been
So
here since the beginning.
thank you
I've been here in
guys.
spirit.
Thank you guys for sticking with this show for so long. We love you. You're the best. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Zach, where can people go if they want to find you?
You can find me having a buffalo mozzarella prosciutto sandwich while I cry over weddings, or on Twitter at that Zach Wilson. Be sure to stick around and tune into AfterBuzz TV tonight at 10 p.m. Pacific as Jesse, me, Emma Pfeiffer, Amy Cassandra dig into Jessica Jones Season 2, episodes 1 to 3. We're doing that tonight at 10, and then on Wednesday at I think 3 p.m.
I think it's 3 p.m.
3 p.m. We're
Yeah.
gonna dig into episodes 4 through 6. We're gonna do it 3 episodes at a time, and then one big finale look like whole season recap. And review. So check that out. That's why I'm wearing this scarf.
That's amazing. That's awesome. You guys are having a Netflix and chill session without Megan or I. I am Tehran. I am the uninvited to the Jessica Jones party that everyone seems so excited about. That's happening tonight at 10. But you can find me at I am Tehran all across the board. Thank you so much. I'm going to be watching. And if you guys do something that I could have done, I'm going to be all over it. To the death.
He's going to be living in the live chat.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be doing everything that Tehran can do, and he can probably do it better tonight at 10. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein and the number 1. And you can find me on YouTube at Haymaker Comedy. It's a lot of silly sketches and stuff like that, so go find that.
They real funny.
I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. Be sure to follow the whole team here at ABTV Marvel. And don't forget to go to iTunes to rate, subscribe, leave a comment. We love hearing from you, and it is the best way to let our producers know that you guys like the show that we're putting on. Thank you guys again so much for watching. We will see you all next week.
Was Deke's biggest fear a forest?
Yes.
Executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.